Welcome to Testimony Sunday. Let us open with these words from Psalm 107. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord tell their story. Those he redeemed from the hand of the foe, those he gathered from the lands, from the east and from the west, and from the north and from the south. I invite Ian now to come and share God's working, healing hand in his life.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ian Elphick, and I would like to tell you about God's mighty healing power in my life. In January 2017, I was working in the Canadian Tire Distribution Center in Brampton. I was feeling so tired that I had to go home. Also, I had a serious cough. After a visit to the doctor, I was diagnosed with bronchitis. The antibiotics didn't help, and my condition worsened to pneumonia in February. The antibiotics didn't work for that either. The doctor gave me more antibiotics and said that this should definitely work. He also gave me a blood requisition for a physical in May. My wife Betty urged me to get the blood work done right away. My doctor called Betty and told her to take me to emergency right away. My hemoglobin was 43, and for normal health it should be at 120. At Brampton Civic Hospital, I received a blood transfusion. Unfortunately, it only brought my hemoglobin up to 66. I saw an oncologist who suspected it was leukemia. That was when she transferred me to Princess Margaret Hospital in Toronto. At Princess Margaret Hospital, they did a bone marrow biopsy. It was very painful. On March 5th, it was confirmed. I had acute myeloid leukemia. I remember trying to lie in the hospital bed. My coughing was bad because of pneumonia. I was struggling to survive and had to sleep sitting up. Then I began my chemotherapy treatment. I was in Princess Margaret for 5 weeks. God was very close to me. I felt his presence daily, and I rested in his care. His love for me carried me through this time. I felt that whatever happened to me, I would be with him. Major Gord Armstrong visited me at Princess Margaret. He took a video of me and shared it with the congregation at Brampton. I felt support from the congregation, and many people prayed for me. I had a second round of chemo in May. For 5 weeks, I stayed at Princess Margaret. For my third round of chemo, I was an outpatient at Princess Margaret. That was in early July. One day at home, I wasn't feeling well. I got really cold and my lips turned blue. An ambulance took me to Brampton Civic Hospital. I went into septic shock and got admitted to ICU. The next day, I lost consciousness and 5 nurses were working to revive me. Betty called the family together along with the Armstrongs because she thought she was losing me. This woman appeared who wanted to pray for me. No one knew who she was. She prayed fervently over me while I clenched her hand. Some there thought she was an angel. After she finished praying, she left and the nurses revived me. By supper time, I was up and eating. Praise God for his mighty healing power. Then I was advised that I needed a bone marrow transplant. Without it, I would not have survived. After more chemotherapy and radiation treatment, I was ready for the bone marrow transplant. On November 1st, 2017, I received my stem cells from an anonymous donor. Family and friends stood around me as I received this special bag of blood. I felt like I was receiving a new chance at life. After 4 weeks in the hospital, I was discharged. However, Betty and I had to live near the hospital in Toronto in case I had some bad side effects. We stayed there for a month and were allowed to go home for Christmas. My recovery went well. I had follow-up visits with my transplant doctor. First it was weekly, then bi-weekly, then monthly, then every 3 months. By the grace of God, I am up to every 6 months. In April 2021, my transplant doctor said I was well enough to go back to work. I tried retirement for a year, but by April of 2022, I decided to work part-time. I started work on May 4th at a Canadian Tire store in Port Elgin. My transplant doctor is delighted with my progress. I am thrilled with the opportunity to live a new life for God. Each day is a blessing to be cherished. God has kept me strong and active. I think of Deuteronomy 31:6, which says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." Praise God for his mighty healing power. Amen.